Ladies and gentlemen, Ode to Eternity presents Family Futures Today, starring Tony and Nicole Davis.
Welcome to Family Futures Today. I'm your host, Cortez Mack, and it's good to be here on this special segment of this show. We're glad to be here because we have our wonderful guests, Mr. Tony and Nicole Davis here. They're going to help us, impart into us, and give us some special wisdom that we need to help in our families, our finances, our relationships, and I tell you, it's going to be helpful. How have you guys been?
Fantastic. It's been wonderful, hasn't it?
Absolutely, Cortez. We've been having a great time, and it's also good to see you again.
Well, I tell you, Mr. Tony, it's good to be seen. All right now. Before we go a little bit, can you once again tell us your story, how you met? You know, Nicole, we're going to hear your version, but we know Tony's version going to be the real one. Go ahead now.
Oh, you want to go way back there? Okay. Well, Nicole and I, we've been married. It's been, since it's 2018, we've been married 27 years now. And we met way back in Keflavik, Iceland. Nicole and I were in the military. I was stationed there first. I was there for several months before she came there. And here's how the story goes.
The short version.
Oh my goodness, the short version.
Yes.
All right, the short version. I'm going to give the medium short, okay? I'm going to give the medium short so they can understand. The medium short is this. For those of you who aren't familiar with military travel, when you're stationed overseas, you have a sponsor who helps you get acclimated to the new environment in the foreign country. Nicole's host in Iceland was my former instructor when I was in school in Pensacola, Florida. So I already had a relationship with her. And I said, Don, we have this new person coming to the command. And I said, Don, here's the deal. I said, if she's cute, I will help you with the luggage. Just come knock on my door and I'll help you with the luggage. So she knocked on my door. The Persian Gulf War had broken out. She knocked on my door and said, Tony, we're here. And I said to Don, my instruction to you was to only come get me if she was cute. Why'd you come wake me up to come help you with this luggage? She came back a little later. She needed something to eat. She didn't know where to go. I'm the only person she knows on the base at the time. Needless to say, I was glad that Don brought her to my room to help with the luggage. But here's the deal. Nicole and I, we had no intention on being a couple. As a matter of fact, we were just friends. I grew up in the church, became very disgruntled with the church because I saw a lack of power. I saw a lack of effectiveness. So I was trying my best to backslide. I was a very bad sinner, but nevertheless, I tried my best, right? I really did. Nicole, she was at a point in her life where she wanted to transition and, she wanted to, do things a little differently. She didn't know what that meant, but nevertheless, she was looking to do that. My grandfather died. How am I doing with this version, babe? As far as time is concerned.
It's okay.
It's okay. All right.
It's lacking luster, but go on.
All right. Well, go ahead. Spice it up then.
Well, just
see. Look, I'm a little long-winded. I only know how to total long-winded version. She took away she hit me with the kryptonite when she said shorten it up. So go ahead.
He asked how we met. I think he answered that question, didn't he, Cortez?
He did a good job, and I believe his version. Okay. It's so many married couples who do things in ministry and entertainment and those things. And it's good that I have the opportunity to know you all, follow you all, social media. And you have some very, very powerful videos out there that people are getting blessed by, inspired to each other. What inspires you about him and what inspires you about her?
That's a great question. What inspires me about Tony is his passion for his family. I've never met a more dedicated man who wants to do the right things where I'm concerned and where his children are concerned. And he gives everything to it. And he gives even when he's mad at me. Like he's still doing the things that a husband should do. And that is enough to motivate me to continue to be the best that I can. And I say that with all sincerity because he didn't have his father growing up. I didn't have my father growing up. And a lot of people say, well, because I didn't have an example, I don't know what to do, or this is why my family is the way it is, or my children are the way it is. And we say, because we did not have an example, and we do believe in the word of God, that truly has been our foundation and our go-to book, our guide. Everything that we desire to be, we find it in the word. And so, although I didn't have a father, I have a heavenly father. And he's taught me and showed me through the word what it means to love people, what it means to give, what it means to be gentle, what it means to be forgiving. And I just apply those to my household. And by doing that, you can have a functioning, thriving family.
Wow, that's powerful. Oh my goodness. Mr. Tony?
What inspires me about Nicole is the fact that she is, I mean, it sounds so cliche-ish, right? But she's the real deal. When we think about really flourishing in spiritually, in the soulish realm and in the body, spirit, soul, and body, she's dedicated to excellence in every area. So my wife's not a slacker. And the same thing she said about passion for the family. I mean, without being too redundant, I can reciprocate all that to her. As a matter of fact, when I met her, even though she didn't have the strong family dynamic, she said, even being involved with me, we have to make sure that we incorporate and bless my family. We have to be an example for my sisters, because I know that there's a better way to go. You want to talk about a spiritual woman, and it's not that it's a comparison thing, but I know when you talk about someone who's serious about the things of God, if there was a scale, my wife is going to tip the scale most of the time. I could really say all the time, but I could say people may be as serious as, but I don't think I can find anyone who's more serious than her about doing the things that God has called her to do coming out of her mother's womb. When it comes to the soulish side of things, you know, a lot of times we find people who are very spiritual, but they're not very smart, right? And look, let's be honest about it, you know, very legalistic and don't know how to apply anything. And as a matter of fact, you could turn a lot of people off. But this is a woman who, I mean, this is Dr. Nicole, right? She's finishing her dissertation for her PhD.
Awesome.
Yeah, she understands how to apply knowledge. As a matter of fact, even with our organization, Empower to Engage, we as we say, we focus on the how-tos of acquired knowledge. And this woman right here, she'll tell you, she wants you to thrive in your spirit and in your soul. And then from a physical perspective, look, she's not feasting on a chitlin loaf, right? She's very practical, because she understands that if you're going to thrive in the spiritual realm and in the soulish realm, you're going to take care of your body as well. And one of the things that inspires me about her is that if you look at her, you can tell that she's handling her business in that regard. And as a matter of fact, she gets on me to make sure that I handle my business as well.
Wow.
Because there have been times where I didn't want to handle my business, and she'll let me know, brother, that's not the way to go. I want you to look good, but I want you to thrive in these other areas as well.
Wow, that's what you call a definition of a help meet. Amen?
Absolutely.
Amen. You know, the scripture says in Amos 3:3, can two walk except they be agreed? You know, we have couples and partners who have a desire to be successful, want to be successful in many areas of their life regarding finances, marriages, family, and all these areas. And I know you have a book series called the Do Right series. Can you define what that means when you wrote the book series, the Do Right series?
Yeah, the Done Right series book was written. We had a particular purpose in mind, but I'm going to even go back to that. You asked, Amos was given a series of questions at that particular point in time, and then the question was asked, can two walk together unless they agree? And of course, the answer is yes, they can walk together, but they won't be very effective, right? So agreement and unity is the power to being effective. You know, there's a lot more, you can get a lot more things done being unified than you can if you're not. And as a matter of fact, you apply the principles of a unified person, they will outproduce a lot of people who have a lot of knowledge but who aren't unified there. So that's why unity is so important. And then with the Done Right series, with us, we knew that doing things right, it's two elements to that, it's two tentacles to that. Element number one, from our perspective, people can have whatever perspective they want, but from our perspective, we believe in the godly standard. So all of the principles that we use to go through life on a day-to-day basis, we line it up with the Word of God and see how does it fit in with the kingdom, right? That's number one. But here's number two. Here's the other element that's very important, and it's also part of our books. It said, blank done right. So we have 3 books. Marriage done right is hard work, but is worth it. Parenting done right is hard work, but is worth it. And leadership done right is hard work, but is worth it. But that's the other part. A lot of people, they neglect the hard work. Look, we're cowards, we're punks, we're chumps, right? We're slothful, right? We don't know how to fight. Look, I'm from the streets, okay? So just to let you know, so I know I may use some vernacular that may not sit well with a lot of Christians, but I think you need to be able to knuckle up and get into battle. So in other words, if you're one of those Old Testament people and they say, hey, go to war, that you're not running, that you're ready to go fight, right? So look, people are afraid of hard work. They're afraid of putting in the hard work, and they're afraid of putting in the hard work and doing it to the God's standards. But so for us, that's what it means to do it right.
And a part B to that, I want to address to Miss Nicole. Why is it hard for people wanting to do the work? Are they scared of the change? They're scared to let go of some things and be different from the norm? What is it? Why are people making it hard to do the work?
It's all of those things. And it's a comfort level. We like to take the path of least resistance. And anytime you present me with something that's going to change what I like, take down some of my gods, whether it's food, clothing, TV, social media, all those can become gods in our lives. A man, a woman. The moment you're trying to take what I like and you want me to change it, then unless the change and what I desire is more important to me than what my current comfort zone is, then I'm not going to change. Until we're sick and tired of being sick and tired is a term or a phrase that you hear people say, you're not going to do the work. And so people will be reluctant to do whatever, even if it's in the word, even if we're saying you'll be more prosperous, you'll be more blessed, you'll have more, you can go further, your family can do more things. Because it requires something on my part and not just, well, I prayed, God, come change this. We don't believe and understand we have to partner with him. He's already done. Didn't he say it is finished? Go, occupy, subdue, take dominion. We still don't believe there is a role for us to play. And it's because we don't want to do the work.
Wow. It's just amazing that you said that we still don't want to believe. As much as we attend church every Sunday, Bible study, conferences, prophetic events all across the country, whatever it takes, we still don't want to change. But this is good conversation. And what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break right now, and we're going to come back with our special guest host, Mr. Tony and Nicole Davis, and we're going to finish this good conversation. Give it up for them.
Are you ready to make monumental changes in your life, business, or relationship and are looking for a push in the right direction? Tony and Nicole Davis from the brand new TV show Family Futures Today offer personal development and relationship coaching services so that you can get your life and your relationships on a path to success. After nearly 3 decades of marriage, Tony and Nicole know what it takes to have a dynamic marriage and be inspiring parents without giving up on personal goals and dreams. As co-founders of Empowered to Engage, they've released the Done Right book series on leadership, marriage, and parenting, and travel across the United States, helping people just like you. And now, they're expanding to help individuals, couples, and families around the globe. For more information and to sign up for your free consultation, visit www.empoweredtoengage.com.
Between the ticks of the clock. Available at these retailers.
Like you, my family is always looking for great movies and TV shows to enjoy together. So you can only imagine how excited I was when we decided to create our very own media ministry, Road to Eternity. We believe in creating entertainment that edifies the soul by developing stories that incorporate faith and hope in people's lives. So whether you're watching a movie or even a television show, we desire to bring you closer to Jesus Christ by releasing entertainment that your family and friends can enjoy. From our family to yours, we thank you for joining us as we take you on this new and exciting journey.
Welcome back to this special edition of Family Features Today. I tell you, this has been a great conversation with our special guests, Mr. Tony and Mrs. Nicole Davis. And we have added some special guests with us today. From my right, we're going to start off with our pastor introducing himself.
My name is Pastor Cornelius Clark. I'm with the Father Factor, which is basically an organization that helps fathers become better at what they do and help the people that support fathers learn how to support fathers as they go forward.
Hello, I'm Erica Holmes. I am the top agent for Combined Insurance. I educate clients as well as do agent development.
My name is Aris Martz. I'm the pastor and evangelist for the international ministry called Kingdom Gospel. And our purpose in the world is to teach, inspire, and transform others. And we do that by providing education as well as transformational workshops.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Cunningham. I'm a clinical mental health therapist. I currently work with boys ages 8 to 18. And my sole purpose is to help these kids who are currently living in a residential treatment center to develop the skills needed to be integrated in families, whether it be foster care or their biological families, teaching them how to thrive and not just survive and to be healthy, and also working with families in how to better care for their kids and develop healthy boundaries and relationships.
These are some awesome guests. Before we go further, I just want to ask this question to the panelists. We know this society is dealing with mental illness. Why is it so hard to deal with mental illness in the Black community?
I think Vanessa may be a great place to start, huh?
Well, when you think about mental illness, you think about this stigma that's been placed on it. It's like if you have a mental illness or if you've been diagnosed with a mental illness, you're lesser of a person, or there's something wrong with you, or it's a character deficit. All of these negative things are associated with it. So when you think about a Black person living in America to be diagnosed with a mental illness, that's like having one more thing added on to who you are. You know, people are not just seeing the color of your skin, but now you are labeled with some form of mental illness, depression. I'm Black and I have depression. It's like one more thing that you've been given to carry. So a lot of times in the Black community, people don't talk about mental illness because it's just something you don't want to have. You don't want to carry around with you. You have too many things going on already. That's what I've seen, and you know, when talking to Black people or people of color, it's just like, it's too much, you know, so let's just not talk about it. Let's pretend it doesn't exist, which is a problem.
You said something that really just caught my attention because he asked the question specifically, why is it an issue in the Black community, right? And then you started talking about mental illness being an issue generally, right? But then you said specifically in the Black community, it's one more thing. So then, of course, the question that naturally came to my mind was, why is that one more thing? Because with that being said, we said that being Black is an issue. From a mental health perspective, what can we do to no longer make being Black one of the issues? So therefore, if you eradicate that, then it's no longer one more thing because of that. Does that make sense? Okay, Vanessa, back to you.
I think what can really help to eradicate that is if we look at mental health as something that we all have, you know, not mental illness, but mental health. And we all should strive to take care of our mental health, no matter the color of your skin or your race or where you're from. It's just that you want to make sure that psychologically, emotionally, socially, and physically you are healthy. Then I think if we start looking at mental health in that light, it no longer becomes, well, you know, you're Black and you have a mental illness, or you're from a specific area, all of these things that sometimes are looked on as negative things, because the color of your skin should not be looked at in a negative light. It should never be. But the sad truth is, it is a lot of times. And that's something that, we struggle with in this society. But when it comes on to mental health and mental illness, if we look at it as we're all trying to take care of ourselves, and your mental health is just as important as your physical health, your financial health, all these other things. If we look at it from that light, I think we will probably see the stigma being erased.
One of the things that's really important for Nicole and me, especially, is making sure that families handle themselves financially today, right? And we think one of the biggest elements in that financial package, and according to, in addition to estate planning, which may be your wills and your trust, we also believe that insurance is a very important part of that. Now, Erica, what I want you to do is talk to us about the importance of insurance, and even specifically life insurance, as you're preparing and helping your family today.
Thank you for that. The importance of life insurance is not for you to get a big lump sum of money, but it's for you to be financially responsible and not being selfish when you leave this earth. Some people feel they can't afford it.
Hold on, I gotta put a pin in. Now, this is going to turn into like an interview, right? Because she used the word being selfish. Tell us about because you said selfish, right? And when I talked to you earlier, you said your daughter has a tagline for her mama, the insurance agent. And tell us what that tagline is.
So on Facebook or social media, I'm known as your insurance lady. Okay. And my daughter says, there's like a tag. If you have a GoFundMe, my mom will support it, because it's disrespectful for me as an agent. Mm-hmm. Because I'm an agent, and you could have at least got some consulting. It's free, just to find out what can you get, what's available to you. I educate, I don't sell. So once I educate you on your family needs and what you can get and what's out there for you, it's totally up to you at that point if you want to move forward. Moving forward is not.
So did you hear what she just said? So in other words, what Erica just said is, if you're not planning for your future, then that's a form of selfishness.
It is.
See, we think selfish means I'm just not sharing with you.
No.
But what she just told us, that if I don't plan for my family's future financially when I depart this earth, that I am being selfish. Now, granted, no one wants to say, we'll take a lot of things. We'll take a lot of aspersions, right? But we don't want to take selfishness, do we? So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Erica.
Especially as a mom or dad. I give to my children all the time. What do you mean I'm selfish? Go ahead.
So if I'm sitting down with you, Tony and Nicole, and I'm talking to you about the importance of life insurance, and you say, I need to think about it. Well, wonder if you had died yesterday, Tony. You were selfish in your thinking, and now Nicole is without.
She's without what?
Life insurance to take care of the children, the household, and you may most likely have been the breadwinner of the family. So now once that's gone, the whole dynamic of the family is in an uproar.
Ooh, that's hard stuff.
That's deep. Oh my God. And Aries, you have a personal experience with someone who didn't properly plan with a situation like this. Share it with us.
Well, not only with one. I mean, unfortunately, I have been involved in a lot of funeral services. But one of the things before I get into that she mentioned that it's an act of selfishness. I want to look at the other side. Getting it is an act of righteousness. The Bible does says that a righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children and the children of his children. Now, back in those days, the inheritance was land and, goats and cattle, right? Today, we don't see that, right? You don't see that. Okay. But how can you really make an immediate inheritance for your children? Answer: life insurance. Right away, you have $100,000, $200,000, $500,000, $1 million. Right away, instantly. You don't have to be saving up. You have it right there. So that's the way that you can start preparing to leave an inheritance for your children's children. And then I goes into estate planning. Here, come here. Let me show you what you're going to do once you get the money, because there's one thing that's for sure. Those who are alive today know that they will die. and the dead knows nothing. So we know that a life insurance is something that we are going to use. When? We don't know. Huh. But now when it comes to that, this is my own personal experience, right? People will say, well, I'd rather go into the ministry and give it to the ministry and do all this stuff. But then if you're really part of a ministry, your family is going to then rely on that ministry to put you away. And then you're not helping them. If you love the church so much, they are beneficiary and they're contingent beneficiary. Just write it down there. You put 10% for the church. If you love the ministry so much, just put it there on your will. 10% goes to the church or whatever percentage. You don't have to feel like you're leaving your ministry aside. And number two, not to provide for your family is denying your faith and it's worse than an unbeliever. You know that, Pastor, right? So it's right there. So I need to think about providing for my family far beyond the grave, right? Why was Jesus able to be buried in an actual grave, right? In a nice grave? Because Joseph had prepared for that. It was his family grave. Abraham, what did Abraham do? He bought the land where his wife was buried, so he can be buried there as well. So we see this preparation all throughout the Bible, right? Now, what happens when somebody dies and there is no that type of preparation? One of the things, before I go into that, and I apologize, but another thing that I've heard say, you know what, the Lord is coming soon, so we need to prepare for that. And I'm like, okay, if you had $1 million policy and he came soon, what does it matter? He came already. But if you didn't and he's waiting and you die, well, you can use that money to further the gospel. And you're going to do a lot more with that money than you not giving anything right now. So the other thing is that they believe that it's not having faith in the Lord when you do that. No, I trust in God. Listen, if Paul was alive today, it's John the Baptist, it's Peter, I would say, don't worry. If you have faith, you'll never die. But everybody have died. You understand what I mean? So it's like, come on, don't use that logic to act selfishly and not provide for your family. You cannot use the Bible. And God says, to Caesar what is Caesar, to God what is of God. Right? So part of that family planning, that life insurance is part of what you got to do to live in this earth. You have something.
I just wanted to tag on to that because the Bible says a lot of things about money. And one of the key things it says is that money answereth all things.
Yes.
And so we don't have to, because everybody gets afraid, the love of money is the root of all evil. No, it's the love of money. It's the misuse or the mishandling of money.
But who are the ones that actually show that love of money?
Right.
The people that don't have it.
Right.
When you don't, you're like, I don't want to.
Another God.
So, but when you have enough, you can be free. You can you can contribute without limit, without hesitation.
Right. Money is a tool that allows you to do things and have experiences on this earth, right?